people maybe have assets, but they're not really diversified, or they're not invested in non-correlated assets that produce sustainable, abundant cash flow month in, month out, month in, month. Hello, my name's John Convery, and Michael and I are delighted you're with us today. Retire Yesterday, Live Today Television. This is a special day, 2017, our Labor Day edition. We're delighted you're here. Now, most of us love to have family barbecues, time with our kids, our grandkids, and of course, on Labor Day, do as little labor as possible. It's Labor Day. Nobody wants to work, isn't that right? But we're delighted you've taken a few minutes out of your day for this very special show.
Yes, he is absolutely right. Nobody wants to work, but about 1 in 3 Americans are concerned how they're going to be able to live an abundant retirement or ever step away from work. That's why we have a very special show lined up. It is the 4 Labor Day tips to help you create financial freedom in your retirement. But first, like John said, it is Labor Day. We want to educate you and entertain you as best as we can. So we're going to give you a little bit of history. This is going to be a history lesson about Labor Day before we get into the 4 tips.
Well, the first thing I want you to know is Labor Day has a very unique heritage. If you go back to the year 1894, that is a very definitive year. That is the year that the Pullman Company in the rail industry basically had essentially enslaved their workers. It was pre-industrial revolution. Now, we all know part of the history. The Industrial Revolution is a great part of our American history, but it also is fraught with the labor being abused, people working long hours, 12, 14 hours a day, in furnace, in silken, in sooty environments, and labor really had almost no rights at all. Well, the Pullman Company, for whatever reason, decided that Labor Day year to basically level wages. They dropped them 25%, and all the people that depended on their employer, the Pullman Company, they were in Pullman-sponsored housing. They got no rent reduction, but they got their wages cut by 25%. They were essentially enslaved in a modern-day version. Well, out of that, the military eventually got called in because there was civil unrest and protesting, and there was a skirmish that ensued, and many of the people, or a good number of them that were protesting, were actually killed by U.S. military forces. It's a tragic day. A week or more later, bipartisan Congress came out with an olive branch of sorts to be conciliatory. They introduced Labor Day as a national holiday to hopefully raise awareness about the mistreatment of labor.
Yes, he is absolutely right. So back in the day in 1890s, September, you would work every day of the week.
Day.
So that one day off.
No rest for the weary.
Yes, so that one day off would be considered a very big deal. Now we all work 5 days a week and we have 2 days off.
And we cry about
and we have 2 days off. So it looks like we have it a little bit better than they did back 100 years ago. We do have the 4 Labor Day tips to help you create financial freedom in your retirement. Since we give you a little bit of history, let's roll into the 4 tips now. And we all know what number 1 is. If you've been tuning into this show each and every week, really the first tip when it comes to retirement is knowing your number.
Got to know your number. It's the number that you need to close the chapter on your working life and step into retirement with confidence. Now, it's different for everyone. You've heard numbers like 12 to 15 times your pre-tax annual income, but it also depends on your risk tolerance and the age at which you retire, and of course, whether or not you have a company pension of any sort and when and how to claim Social Security. But knowing your number, which we can give you some education on, really sets the stage for you having confidence, because you got to know, do I have enough? Do I have enough money not only to retire, but for it to last a 25 to 30-year retirement? That's a question that's worth seeking an answer to.
Yes, that's absolutely right. You have to seek the answers to question number 1. Rule number 2, see and find out the answer to question number 1, because it's going to segue into question or tip number 2. And tip number 2 is, do not let your house own you. And you really can't find out if that's a possibility until you know your number, because you might have to potentially downsize in retirement.
That's right. One huge windfall for retiree hopefuls, American patriots who are age 62 or 3 and would love to retire early, is right-sizing their homestead, because your home, arguably, is a huge expense. The equity in it is dead. It doesn't produce any income for you. As a matter of fact, it sucks money out of your pocket, your wallet, and your purse. It's almost like a vacuum cleaner sucking the money out, right? That's what it is, because the equity's dead, and even if you don't have a mortgage, which congratulations if you don't have a mortgage, congratulations, but at the end of the day, your home still is going to consume money like an incinerator. There's property taxes, perhaps a homeowners association due. There's also maintenance, so on and so forth. So at the end of the day, getting your house right, we're seeing a subtrend, people moving up to places like Ormond Beach or Old Flagler Beach, which is old world nostalgic Florida. You don't see the shimmering skyscrapers up there on the rivulet, little ribbon of sand beaches. A quieter life. Ocala's another big trend, and people moving to Tennessee to basically enjoy a quality of life and stretch their dollars further, because in case you haven't noticed, Palm Beach is not exactly an inexpensive place to live if you own a piece of property or have a homestead here anymore.
Yes, and he hit the nail on the head. Quality of life. That is something you absolutely have to consider when it comes to your retirement, because your quality of life is much more important than the bottom line assets you may have. Because if you're living in an area that's, like John always said, the high rent district,
that's right,
but you can move to Ocala and enjoy life a little bit better, it might be the right decision for you.
Yeah, it might definitely be. And many people maybe have assets, but they're not really diversified, or they're not invested in non-correlated assets that produce sustainable, abundant cash flow month in, month out, month in, month out. Because cash flow and managing your longevity risk, in my view, in my opinion, is the singular most important thing to do financially when you're at or near retirement. In the red zone, you don't have time to recover from a loss, and you really want to be looking at what are your sustainable sources of income from multiple sources, so you can really thrive in retirement, not just survive.
Yes, you don't want to be a paper millionaire in retirement. I'd much rather have $750,000 that creates consistent cash flow. That is tip number 2 for Labor Day. Let's get into tip number 3, and it's what many people do not consider when it comes to retirement, because they all think Medicare will kick in.
Right.
But it doesn't until a certain age. So what are some ways people can tackle and take care of health care? Because again, if you guys have been tuning into this show, you already know that healthcare is one of the single biggest, if not biggest, expense you will have to tackle in your future or pending retirement.
No doubt. At age 65, under Article 18, you're entitled to Medicare Part A, which pays for hospitalization if you have a heart attack and are in cardiac care at the JFK Hospital down there, part of the HCA member network down on Congress. But at the end of the day, Medicare Part B, you pay a premium for about $124 to $131 a month. But listen in, if you're a high income earner in retirement, you are subject to means testing, meaning the more you earn, your Medicare premium for Part B will escalate. That's number 1. Or listen in, if you're 62 or 3 and you want to retire early, but you find yourself in the classic conundrum, John, I can't afford to retire. Have you looked at what health insurance costs? I know, but there are also health sharing arrangements run by tax-exempt nonprofits that have no insurance profit incentive, basically manage the risk over a large number of constituents, like-minded individuals, and because they only insure people or essentially provide membership health care for like-minded individuals that are healthy, you're not forced into the Obamacare exchanges, which are so unaffordable for many people because they cover all the uninsureds, pre-existing conditions, and basically it's a dumping ground for people that can't get insurance. Therefore, your premiums go through the roof. So if you're pre-retirement and you want to retire, but you don't know how to deal with the healthcare equation, or if you're already retired but still find yourself having high income where you may be dealing with scaling up more and more expense of Medicare Part B, these are things that we want to educate you about for your unique situation, which we don't know, but you know what? There are answers worth seeking. We'd love to help you with that.
Yes, we want to educate you each and every weekend. So tune back in Monday, because we're going to get into tip number 4, and then we're going to call it a day because it is Labor Day.
Yes.
Tip number 4, the 4th tip in a Labor Day edition, is to really stop procrastinating, because many people put it off way too long to plan for that transition into retirement, and they come in a little bit behind the 8 ball.
No doubt about it. Listen, we're here in my lovely ranch, which we love. It's a kiln-dried log home. It's kind of a family sanctuary where we love to gather together. But my wife is going to come home from the grocery store. I think she's at Publix. She's been asking me to sweep up that pile of dirt right by, you can't see that, right? Right by the threshold of the door. I haven't done it yet.
I see it over there.
Yeah, my tastes are eclectic, but I haven't. I'm very good at procrastination. And probably you are, my friend, honestly, in one or more categories of life. But you don't want to procrastinate when it comes to your financial future. You really want to be prepared, because to win in retirement in this day and age in America, you have to be tenaciously thoughtful, continue your financial quest for literacy, and remember that the landscape has changed. The map, you need a different map for a different territory, because retirement in America is not like it was during the predecessor generation. We'd love to help you with that, but remember this, you have to really establish your footprint. You have to make sure you overcome procrastination. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. Just take a first step. It doesn't matter if it's reading out of the Wall Street Journal, the financial press, just to get some insights as to what's trending, or getting in touch with a financial advisor, or basically working on a plan that you inaugurate on your own, of your own free volition, to pay down debt. Whatever it is, take a step, because to do that, you start to create momentum in the direction of solving your problems and building financial abundance. To not do that basically means you're just going along with the tide, and that's okay at some point, but when the tide shifts, you may find yourself way out on a distant sea with no paddle to get back, and we don't want that to happen to you.
Yes, you do not want to be in a life raft without a paddle.
Gotta have your paddle.
Like John said, take some baby steps.
Baby steps?
Baby steps. Baby steps.
Baby steps to the door.
Exactly. Take some baby steps
to success.
This is the 4 Labor Day tips to help you create financial freedom in retirement. I'm Michael. I'm going to get on out of here, let John close out the show. Until next week, remember, we'll be back Monday, so tune on in. Peace out.
Hey, you know what, folks? Great to be with you as always. God bless you, and may I share my paraphrase of the old Irish prayer. Until our paths meet again, my friend, may the wind always be gently at your back. May the sun shine warmly on your face. May the misty low road rise up to meet the high road. And until our paths meet again, my friend, may God anoint you with good health, blessings to you, and have a magnificent day. Goodbye now.